At first at 4:30, a local nonprofit is warning that millions of dollars for Native Hawaiian education is at risk through potential Trump administration cuts. Governor Green told Hawaii News Now that if the cuts go through, the state would probably file another lawsuit. Mahea Richardson has the story. Mahea.
Well, Mark, the warning about the education cuts is coming from the president and CEO of the Partners in Development Foundation, which helps keiki, caregiving, and vulnerable youth in the Hawaiian community.
Partners in Development Foundation serves thousands of keiki and caregivers, but President and CEO Shawn Kanaʻiaupuni says Hawaii nonprofits are bracing for $45 million in potential cuts next year. The foundation says the Family-Child Interaction Learning funding in the islands comes from the U.S. Department of Education's Native Hawaiian Education Program, which has been zeroed out by the Trump administration's proposed budget.
Those dollars are at great threat right now, and so potentially won't exist by next summer. So it's a pretty significant, I'm calling it a cliff, pretty significant funding cliff that we're looking at.
Partners in Development Foundation gets 72% of its funding from the federal government, $15 million from the Native Hawaiian Education Program. The nonprofit has 38 education programs, like the Tutu and Me traveling preschool in communities across the state, and also does workforce development and career training for youth.
What happens to a mom who, is feeling pretty isolated with a young infant and doesn't know what to do and how to support them well? They would come to our program and find that kind of support and the connections that would help that young mom. And if that's not there, we really worry.
It's hard for me to predict how loathsome the U.S. Congress will be on some of these programs.
When asked about it, Governor Green told Hawaii News Now the state could file another lawsuit.
It is pretty awful to see Hawaiian programs get targeted. And put it this way, if that program cut does go through, I think that we will probably litigate. And my children went to Tutu and Me, both of them. So I know the value personally.
This week, Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono held a hearing on potential education cuts.
If Trump could do it, he would just completely wipe out the Department of Education altogether. But even he realizes that only Congress, which created the Department of Education, can do that. But he and his administration is doing everything they can to move money around.
Partners in Development says the funding is safe this year and its programs are running without disruption. But with next year's uncertainty, it's trying to become less reliant on federal support.
Now, Partners in Development says it may have to consider fees for its free programs if the cuts go through. Meanwhile, Governor Green says the state can help with appropriations for 2 to 3 years and use rainy day funds if there are deep cuts to Medicaid or food stamps. Mahea Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
Mahea, thank you.